Upgrade your classic game room to CGR Hyper Mark III. Classic Game Room presents Magnum Skywolf, the helicopter action comic strip, now on Patreon. Banished from Earth, Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to a special Classic Game Room. You know I love fun, irreverent videos, right? Well, the guys over at GameSack threw the select button challenge down at me, asking what video game controller, has the best select button? Big question. I've never thought about it before until now, and it matters. You know why it matters? Because when you're selecting games, you want to select games with style, precision, and comfort. Select buttons. Who's number one? Is it the NES gamepad, which has a start button and a select button? No, I don't think so, because the select button is small and you've got to dig your thumbnail in there, and it's kind of awkward. So from the comfort standpoint, I don't think this is the best select button, but there's so many more. Obviously, it's going to be a Sega Genesis controller, right? Wrong, because the Genesis controller doesn't have time to select things. It just starts. As it turns out, a bunch of my favorite controllers don't have select buttons, like the Sega Saturn gamepad. You know why? Because it doesn't give a shit. And the Atari 2600 paddle controllers, they don't have select buttons. The Atari 2600 has a select switch, but it's not a controller. And remember I said that for later in this video, you'll see why. I've got an amazing controller here. This is the Fighting Stick Multi from Hori that plays Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and PC Engine, but the select button really isn't all that spectacular, is it? It's functional, you know, it does the job, but it's not that stylish. Also, it shares space with the mode button, and I think that's unacceptable. Therefore, this select button fails.
I'm inside your zone, which has a select button. It's tiny and awkward and only selects terrible games in the R zone. Help! Get me out of here. It's horrible.
Here's a look at that classic select button that so many of us grew up with on the NES gamepad. Sure, it's stylish, but not comfortable.
Atari 2600 controller, no select button. ColecoVision controller, no select button. Hang on. Hello? Oh, hi, Mark. How you doing? You're stuck in the R zone. It's red and blurry and awful. Well, have fun. No select button.
Here we have one of my many dysfunctional Atari 5200 controllers, which does not have a select button because the select button wants nothing to do with this thing. The PlayStation 2 DualShock 2 controller has a select button right here, which is functional and comfortable, but it's not that stylish and it kind of gets lost in the rest of the design. So sorry, Sony. You're not number one here.
Now, the Super Nintendo and the Super Famicom gamepads both have select buttons, but frankly, I think they're both lacking in the style department. While they accurately select games, I don't feel that special while selecting games. I want a controller that makes me feel important, which is why I'm going for the NES Advantage. Yes, my friends, this is how you do a select button right. For starters, it's on a special controller, because the best select button can't just be on some standard issue gamepad. It's got to be on a special controller like the NES Advantage. And notice that it's above the start button. The select button is more important. Also, it's stylish and comfortable, but there is a better select button. You want to see it? It's pretty cool. In fact, I've got a controller which has not one but two select buttons. And pedals. That's right, everyone. Bow down before the might of the Steel Battalion controller, which has not one but two select buttons, and they light up, which makes them incredibly stylish. They're also comfortable, but
not the best at selecting things because it's a little bit complicated. The controller with the best select button in the universe has been in this shot all along. Can you see it? Oh, there it is. Why? It's a 400-pound controller that plays games. It's the Neo Geo. Try doing this with a lesser controller. It just won't work. It's the Neo Geo MVS with the greatest select button in the universe. A real arcade-style select button that looks good and sounds cool when you push it, and it's on the controller, which just happens to be built into the game system. How you doing? It doesn't just select things within the game, it selects entire games. Neo Geo games, which is why it's number 1. Classic Game Room calls it the Neo Geo MVS has the greatest select button in the entire universe. Neo Geo. Winners use the best select button, not drugs. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, when you absolutely, positively must select games with style, sophistication, authority, and accuracy. Except no substitute. That was a lot of fun. If there's a better select button, I don't know about it. Now, I have a challenge to throw down a game sack. What game system has the best rubber feet beneath it? I think it's the Atari 2600 Junior because it's about 30 years old and they're all still on there, so you know they've got good build quality. And I think you get a good amount of surface tension considering the size and weight of the game console, so it doesn't slide around the table. What game system has the best rubber feet? No aftermarket feet allowed, only OEM. This is serious. No aftermarket feet allowed. OEM, original feet only. Beat this. Thank you for watching. Follow Classic Game Room on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Don't miss Magnum Skywolf, also on Patreon. Welcome to the club. It's the Lord Carnage Club, where I give thanks to these backers on Patreon. Starting with Jim Moriarty, Sergio Matthias Hergert, Zach Brenner, Jason from Kamloops, British Columbia, Busy Signal, woo! Shadow Minion 4, Lord Carnage, Al Stiver, Sean Zoltek, nah, I'm just kidding, Sean Zoltek, Stephen Chucknick from New Jersey, Landon Ellerby, so Lando, Philip Straubenmuller of Vienna, Austria, Jack Stavros from Australia, Ohad Kane, Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Briar, Rick, DeBarros, Will, Kid Shuriken, and Chip Sankbale. See you next time on Classic Game Room. Mark 3!